The girl had a boil on her leg. Oh, it was about like baseball, size of a baseball. It was real big. And it was hurting her to the point where she had to use crutches. I don't know whether she went to the doctor. I think she went to the doctor and they just gave her painkillers. I don't know whether the doctor suggested to drain it or bust it or whatever. But I told my grandmother about it. You know, they ain't had no, I'll be right back. They ain't had no phone so you could send pictures. I wonder if my grandmother would have had a phone today. If Shaminga would have had a phone today. Probably so. Alrighty. How much I owe you? $2.50. Thank you. Have a nice day. So, close back over. In my shaded area, I might sit in the car. I got everything. I ain't got it on put on. So, morning. So this girl had this ball. I told mommy. Poor mommy told her about it, and she told me what to do. She said, get some garlic, cut it up real fine, and put it in a cloth and wrap it around it. She said, wrap it as tight as you could do it. She said, I know it's going to hurt, but you got to wrap it. Right? So, that's what I did. She said, I think she said change it every hour. She said, make sure you change it every hour. She said, put fresh garlic on it. She said, but it's the juices that do the work. So that's what I told her to do. But I really don't think they're doing it right. I don't think they're doing it right. Because it has to be cut up real fine. Because when I went and saw it, they had it inside the paper towel. Because I told her she got paper towel, use paper towel. She got it in the paper towel. And somebody had me. I don't know whether you could hear them drums. She had it in the paper towel. And hold up. And she had the paper towel on her skin. So I told her, I told her, no, you got to put the garlic, because they had it all up in it was all dried up and all the, see. You gotta see. I did it. When the girl had it, I'm the one who cut it up. That was my first. That was my first lesson in cooking. Cause I cut it up. Oh, he's gone. She parking the van and the guy in the car. It's bad to be in the car with drivers. They're having pictures. So I'm gonna go sit in this park for a little bit and finish this combo. Take me a little getaway time. Wish they had. Oh, they do got benches over there, but they got them where you can't sit in them. Got the yellow one. So I guess I'm supposed to sit in. So maybe I should sit over here. They got the little yellow things on them. I don't know whether that's because you're not supposed to sit. But I'm going to sit for a little bit. I want to finish telling this story. Okay. So, I put it on this girl, change it, cut it up, change it every hour. Every hour on the hour. I changed it, right? And it started oozing from the hole. Because mommy told me to find where it's coming from. She said, find the, what's the word? I guess the little hole or the tip of it. She said, find that part and put the garlic on that and wrap it around. So that way, the wrap was to press whatever in it out through the hole. Like that, right? And that's what I did. It was hurting. Oh my God, I felt so sorry for her. I can't remember whether she was crying or not, but it was hurting her. She was from London. So she had a nice little accent and stuff. She was real tall. London people is tall. That's what she said. She said a lot of London people is real slanky, tall and slim. She wasn't slim. She was built. She had a nice build about her. And she just gravitated to me. You know, she gravitated to me. And she was very jealous. She didn't want, there was another girl in the picture. I think she was from London too, but she was white. I mean, not stating any prejudiceness about anything, no color thing. The other girl was white and she was black. But she gravitated. They both gravitated to me, but she was more dominant. So anyway, back to the bump. So, not crazy here. Go watch this here. So I'm gonna leave it straight. This hair is made to be straight. Like these boots is made for walking. So I kept doing it, changing it every hour on the hour. And after a while, now mind you, each time I would go and change it, we could see the stuff. She was like, oh my goodness, Sharon, look at the stuff coming out. And you could see the little, it started out with with liquid stuff. And then maybe after 2 or 3 more change of dressing, you start seeing the actual stuff that's in there start coming out. It would start draining out through the hole, right? And maybe, we must have did it for like quite a few hours. It was a few hours we did it. It was like from the morning from that nighttime, maybe afternoon, nighttime, into the morning, because I stayed at her house. I didn't spend the night, but I stayed at her house because I was at Covenant House and you couldn't stay out. So I don't even know how I met her. I don't even know how I met her, because she wasn't in Covenant. She wasn't in a juvenile shelter. Mm-mm. That was a home. That wasn't. And she lived it in the nice west. She lived it in the Upper East Side in a nice building that got bellboys and stuff, like a bellboy like you see in the movies. She lived in, remember that hotel like Coming to America with Eddie Murphy? She lived in a hotel like that. So I stayed till about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and went back. But when I left, I'm trying to think if it was an overnight thing. No, I think everything happened while I was there. It just took 6 to 8 hours for it to take effect. I think she took painkillers. I can't even remember. I think she took like Tylenols. And my grandmother warned us. She said, I want to tell you that when it bursts, it's going to stink. Being that it's so big, she said even if it's a little one, it stinks because what's in it is like the impurities inside your body. This is how I know, because she had told me. And it's a backup. And you have to clean yourself out. And if you don't, the body finds ways of extracting it. And when those things come, you have to know how to get rid of it. Otherwise, it goes back into the system. So if you don't do an Emma and clean out your system, the body does it for you. And that's where the big knot comes in at. That's why I be a big knot. So, I'm going to drop my coffee. So, maybe towards the 7th time, it bursts. Maybe the first, second, third, fourth. Maybe the 5th time when we went to change it, the swelling part of it went down. The big bump itself went down. And we had to change it more often because the rag was like, how can I say, was filled up with the stuff. It was all this brown stuff and everything. And I would have to go and take it off, and you would see all the stuff in there. And so like the 7th time when we went, a big hunk of it was inside the thing, like this. And that's when it was completely down. So I told my grandmother, she said, all right, well, now you just have to wait. Now it's all about keeping it clean, keeping it thorough. She said, clean it with like antiseptic, that brown thing. She said, clean it with that, because my grandmother was a nurse. Clean it with that and stuff like that. Keep it clean. And I did. I cleaned it up for her, and that bad boy went down. It still had to, like, you know how you get burnt and the blister bursts? She still had that little skin there. But my grandmother said, just keep it clean, put the gauze over, and it'll come back normal. So I think when I went back, I think that was my last time seeing her. So just think, I had to interact with her just for that. And we was together, hanging out with one another just about every single day. Oh, this is how it was. The other girl was a friend of hers. Right, that's how it was. I think we met them in the park. We would walk to Central Park. And it was like 20 blocks, but we would walk. Child, please. That's probably why I'm so muscle toned per se. 20 blocks? My uncle, he's deceased today, but my uncle used to have us out there walking. I be tired, got my book bag on the back of me. I don't know how. I think he'd pick me up from school or whatever. And I'm walking. God, no, don't ask me where we walking to. But he ain't believe in using transportation. And he was slim. Shut the fuck up. He was slim. Not skinny, but slim. You know what I'm saying? And, it just depends on how people and what's people's definition of skinny. I was telling my grandson skinny, fat. I said those are the two words that distinguish people. But there are a lot of different words. They're like synonyms and probably antonyms, if I'm saying it right. Your English majors, please forgive me. That say skinny. You got slim, you got tiny, and they all mean different things. You see what I'm saying? But I guess that's why they're synonym, because they can connect with the word skinny. But like tiny, small, short. You see what I'm saying? People say I'm tiny. I had somebody tell me, "Ooh, you tiny." So I had to kind of go in. That's why I say people say things to me, and sometimes it be a compliment, and sometimes it be a sarcastic remark. Okay, so back to the bump. So she got past that, it cleaned up, and we kind of lost contact. She went to London. Now, here's the thing. She was from London, right? And her father, she said, her father was a lawyer. And if you see them movies, if you saw them movies back in the 17th century and stuff, where they have the wigs, the men had to wear the curly wigs inside the courtroom. They all sitting up there with the curly wigs. She said that's the type of things that go on. That's the dress attire when you go to court. You can't dress like this. You can't look like this to go to court. You gotta put a wig on over your hair. You got to put on all this attire and stuff like that, especially if you're a part of the royal, what is it? The royal throne or the royal people. So that's what her father was. I can't really remember how she got to New York, why she was in New York, but she was. I met some interesting people when I was in that group home for juveniles. Covenant House. And why was I put there? Because my father and his girlfriend kicked me out. That's a story time. How many minutes I've done talk? 18 minutes. So